Joining me now in our political disruptor segment on the John Fredericks Show, Ron Basilian. Ron, I hope I'm saying your name right, running for Congress in the 37th District in California. Ron, am I pronouncing your last name right? Let's start there.
You got my name right, but it's Laguna Niguel.
Oh, that's right. Laguna Niguel. Thank you.
Yeah.
Laguna Niguel. And it was, we didn't live in Laguna Beach. Laguna Beach was like down the hill. And there was some highway there that you have to go over. That was Laguna Beach. That was really expensive. But we lived in a condo in Laguna Niguel, right? Niguel?
Yeah, Laguna Niguel. And FYI, those guys got sued by ACLU twice trying to enforce their vagrancy laws. So we can certainly talk about them some more. They were kind of front and center in that whole homeless issue.
I don't remember many homeless. Now, I was there. I got to think back, Ron, when I was there. I was the editor of the editorial pages, and I did just basically general management work for the Orange County Register. That's back when it was owned by Freedom Communications, and it was owned by a family, and it was a really good paper. I mean, editorial, we were very conservative. My congressman was like Bullet Bob Dornan. Remember him? B1 Bob.
Bob Dornan. Geez, that's a name I hadn't heard in a long time.
B1 Bob, they called him. He was my congressman, as I remember. This was a long time ago. But the best thing about it is the Orange County Register, great newspaper when I was there. I'm not sure if it is, and now it's changed hands and almost went out of business 2 times. But when I was there, it was in Irvine, right? Irvine? And I used to take Amtrak. It was 5 minutes from my house. And it would stop in Irvine, which was like then 5 minutes from the Register. And that was the best part about that job is I never had to drive anywhere. I never had to go on the freeway. I just take Amtrak, have a cup of coffee, read the Orange County Register, anything I didn't like that was in it. I'd circle, go in the office, have my meeting. It was pretty good. So I did like that aspect. Ron, tell me about your district.
So 37th District is the heart of L.A. It's Crenshaw, Culver City. It's like basically everything southwest of downtown LA minus the beach. Karen Bass runs the district, and just to give you, it's the second bluest district in California, which is behind only Eric Swalwell, which does Berkeley, Oakland. To give you a better idea, I've got Adam Schiff to the north, I've got Ted Lieu to the west, and I've got Maxine Waters to the south of me.
Ah!
So right in the middle of everything.
You're surrounded.
And it's bad, I mean, I was the only Republican on the ticket for 2018 for any position. State Assembly, we had no Republican. State Senate, we had no Republican. And as you know, the National Senate, we had no Republican. We couldn't even get a National Senate candidate to make the top 2. So, I'm here just to give some hope to people because the Democrats around here have gone so far to the left, and they're starting to attack basic property rights, basic vagrancy laws. I mean, I just got an article in my inbox today that thousands are net out migrating from both LA and Orange County. Basic middle class tax-paying citizens are all moving out of state. And let me tell you, I was just in Phoenix last weekend, and man, I can confirm it. Everybody I was talking to seemed to say, like, this state has gone insane. I got to get out of here,
So what are some of the things they're doing, Ron, in California that, I mean, we understand the high taxes, right? People get that. The homelessness in L.A., the homelessness in San Francisco, the map they put out in San Francisco that shows you how to step over the human excrement.
Well, let me tell you something. I call them vagrants. Don't call them homeless. The difference between these people pooping and shooting up and us isn't lack of a home. A vagrant is somebody without a home or any means of livelihood. They just wander around. And, there's a vagrant camp. I'm right by the vagrant camp over here on the 405 in Venice Beach, Venice Boulevard, sorry. And it's just riddled with crime and drugs, and the local businessmen are just getting desperate to do something. So that's a huge issue for us, especially since the Democrats their only solution is build more halfway houses right in people's backyards, which, just brings more of that problem in. Telling us that we're being, bigots or heartless because we don't want to take care of them. It's like, okay, let's take care of them. But you got to do this away from crowded neighborhoods, do it somewhere where it's not so dense, Some lady right by my work just got brutally attacked. The guy's in jail, and it was a vagrant, I'm really here to talk about the basic issues. Here in Culver City, for example, where I live, we have we have a leftist slate which always votes 4-1, and the one guy that isn't part of that slate, he's declined the state. And as he puts it, the people in the city, they're Hillary Democrats. They consider themselves compassionate. They want to do what's best for the country. They're willing to be taxed to do something, but they're not ready to destroy their own neighborhood. They're not ready to. They don't want to move out. They're ordinary middle class people who are getting squeezed by all this Democrat legislation. So we're really trying to reach out to these people. We're looking at passing a referendum. The city of Culver City just passed rent control. To stop that. And beyond that, like I said, people think don't run unless you can win. Well, that's nonsense here in West LA. You have to run just to be able to raise these issues and raise an alternate perspective, that people can resonate with. Because otherwise, the only other option for people is to move out, which just makes the problem worse.
So, Ron, I'm on the East Coast, right? So we make fun of California. I mean, we look at your governor saying crazy things about sanctuary states, and he welcomes all illegals in, and now they can vote and they get driver's license, and you guys are paying for them. And so that gives him power because he gets another congressional seat. He gets more money. So he blasts the federal government, but then he takes their money. I mean, the whole thing, the hypocrisy is mind-boggling to me. But what everyday life there, like everyday people, just everyday life, are they starting to get concerned with the direction that California is heading?
Oh, absolutely. And it's like I said, people say, I never voted for any of this stuff, We don't even feel like we really voted for Gavin Newsom with the whole ballot harvesting, voter registration thing. Who knows? Who knows what actually happened? I mean, we've gotten reports of people turning in thousands of ballots, and these aren't like people who care about the Democrats. They're union militants, They're paid union members that come and do this. So who knows? Definitely, with the vagrants, we have our community councils. We just elected that sort of try to put the LA City in check. We finally elected a community council that's ready to actually, stand up to them. These guys, these Democrats, they campaign on one issue, and then they turn around and they push this stuff that nobody ever voted them in office for. I'm sorry, nobody voted for Gavin Newsom for giving health care to illegals. And this is what the Democrats in the state do all the time. They're like, we're going to do all these cool things, and you're going to pay for it. We're going to do solar, and developers are going to pay for it. If you want to build a house in California, you have to build solar panels on it now. And that's just the latest thing. So it's, I can give you all sorts of theories on why they're doing it. I don't believe the Democrats people think they're voting for are the Democrats that exist. And I think people are starting to realize that, especially with things like this homeless epidemic.
Is there a single Republican in California as far as in Congress, or did every one of them lose?
Well, there's a bunch of, look, Kevin McCarthy is here in Bakersfield. He's the GOP minority leader, and he's very much there. The urban areas are Democrat. Orange County flipped Democrat. 2020 is going to be very interesting because we're definitely making a push to flip that back. I mean, look, the option can't be, deal with Democrats or move out. There has to be an alternative, because that's going to be disaster for the whole country, not just California.
If business people and hardworking Californians keep moving out to avoid the taxes and they want relief from that, Ron, and by the way, we're with Ron Basilian, Ron is running for Congress in in California's 37th district, which is West LA. He has zero chance of winning, but it doesn't matter because he's got the moxie to go run for Congress and raise these issues. That's why, we owe it
Well,
to
you
him.
have to remember, it's not just running for Congress. Like I said, we're involved in Culver City politics. We're involved in neighborhood politics. I'm pushing other people to run. I might run for city council at some point. We're organizing people. People know me now from my 2018 run from Congress, and there's name recognition in that. It's cumulative name recognition in that. So what you take from one campaign, you can take to the next campaign.
I love what you're doing.
This is how you build political movements.
I love it. I love what you're doing, man. It takes a lot of courage, a lot of moxie, a lot of time, and but you get on the congressional ballot, you build a name, and then you go from there and you try to build a movement and driving people. Now, what percentage did you get there in 2018?
Oh, I only got like 12%.
All right, well,
it's bad.
More than 10.
But look, for a guy that only raised like $10,000, that was my first campaign. It took me 6 months to figure out how to get a decent treasury going. Learned all this stuff on my own. I mean, we barely have a functional GOP around here. That they really can't help. I did all right. I raised 3 times as much as Omar Navarro did on his first campaign. And his second campaign, he raised $1 million. So, this is how you learn. This is what I mean. It's a cumulative issue. And frankly, we need more Republicans to volunteer around here. We need more Democrats to wake up and flip. And, yeah, you're right. It does take courage, because if you stand up to what the Democrats are doing, man, there's a whole machine ready to come out after you. They've got their own people that hang out 24/7 on social media, and who knows if they're real or not? Who knows if their stories are real or not? Probably not. Trying to defend all of their crazy policies, and they'll attack anybody. They'll attack old ladies who say, "I don't like this," They're really despicable people. I'm sorry. I deal with all of them,
I love what you're doing.
The thing we understand is, look, we're living in a machine here, and like the Terminator line, it cannot be reasoned with, it cannot be bargained with, it will not stop until we are all dead.
Oh, God.
And the point is, if California goes completely blue and the Republicans just pick up stakes and move out, they're coming to your state. All these things that are happening in California, they're pushing in states all over the country, along with, ACLU, who's pushing to invalidate vagrancy laws in all sorts of states. Like,
yeah,
even
but
Texas.
that's the thing. If you don't stand and try to fight him there, my son, I just tell you this, my son very, very fast. He's a college professor now at Ole Miss, but he was he got his advanced degrees from the University of Nevada, which is in Reno, Nevada. And so he was in Reno. He was there, and then he was a college professor there. So he was there for a decade or so, 8 years, I think. And so he told me that when he first went to college there, getting his master's and then PhD, that, he loved Reno. It was a great city, low taxes. And he said that in the last 5 years, he said all of the California Democrats were getting out of California and moving to Reno, which is, I guess, like an hour outside of San Francisco. Tesla had a plant there. So he said all these Californians, and my son is not a conservative. He's a Democratic college professor. So he said all the California Dems come from Oakland, San Francisco. They come into Reno. And he said in a matter of a 7-year period, they completely destroyed the city. And he said they voted in. We had like a Republican. He said, I vote Democrat national Hillary Clinton. But locally, I voted for all the Republicans because they get lower taxes. They keep the streets clean. He said all these Democrats moved in. All of a sudden, Democratic mayor, Democratic cabinet, Democratic supervisors, and they completely destroyed the city, raised taxes, crime, vagrants, violence. And so he moved out. And that his story to me was like, if you don't stop them, what's then the other state they're going to come to? He said eventually they're going to come to Mississippi and follow. Oxford.
Absolutely.
So you're right,
and,
Ron.
like you said, they're coming into Arizona, Nevada, Colorado, New Mexico. I mean, I'm sorry, it's like locusts. It's, and I'm really starting to see, we have to stop them. There are some Republicans here. We have a few people who are thinking they can split up California and have the conservatives have their own state. I don't think that's a feasible solution. I think we really need to stand and fight here in California and for what people are left here. Before all there will be left in California, as I say, is bums, bureaucrats, and billionaires.
Bums, bureaucrats, and billionaires. Ron Basilian, good luck to you, man. I love what you're doing. We got to have you back every so often. I love the fact that you're fighting out there. And, so last time you got 12%. This time, Ron, you're going to get 20%, right? You're going to hit 20. I know it. Ron,
that's the idea.
For 30.
And we might get some people to win city council. I think that's where we have to start as well.
See, that's why I love what you're doing. You're trying to build a movement with your congressional campaign and then drive it down to city council. Great idea. Keep fighting, Ron, baby. Ron437.org. Ron437.org. He's fighting. And who are the 4 congressmen surrounding you again? Just go over that again.
We got Adam Schiff to the north of me. I got Ted Lieu to the west of me, who I call Ted Lies, because he lies all the time. And we got Maxine Waters to the south of me. and FYI, we are still fielding candidates to run against those 3. So if any of you guys know anybody who's interested in running, I can help you out. You can always contact me on that website, ron437.org.
Ron, fighting a lonely battle in California, trying to recruit candidates. You hang in there, Ron. Have a fabulous holiday weekend and keep fighting. We'll have you back. Thank you, Ron.
All right. Thanks so much.
All right.
I'll talk to you later.
John Fredericks Radio Network.